Alright, let's go ahead and play an actual Banshiki piece. If you turn over to the Banshiki section of the book, right on the last line of that page, we've got Shote, the Banshiki version of Shote. Everything in Banshiki is basically played like the Oshiki pieces, except everything is shifted, so instead of starting on Fu, for example, it'll start on Ho. Right? It starts one notch up from where it started before. Because of that, we've got some tone color differences and some differences in fingerings. Again, with Banshiki, remember, don't start too high. If you start playing too high, you won't be able to reach the notes and it'll all feel strange and funny. So let's remember to play a little bit merry as we play these Banshiki pieces. You can play Banshiki, it's kind of a bright melody. It's cold outside, it's quiet outside, but inside we're a little bit bright and kind of giving ourselves a little bit of warmth and energy from being inside and drinking warm coffee, as it were. Espresso, actually. So let's give it a try. Shote. Right, so this is one of the great things about this book, is that these Banshiki pieces are actually written out, and most older, from the 1600s and 1700s, most older manuscripts just say, for Banshiki, play it the same as Oshiki, except in Banshiki. So what does that mean? Well, this gives us a little bit of a hint. Basically, that's just what it says. You're playing it the same, except you'll notice, maybe, that some things are not the same, okay? For one thing, Fu means hit, right? What about Ya Ho Ya? It makes sense to play that the same, so I'm playing that the same, but that's my interpretation, right? I think that's correct, though, but, if you want, you could play and... since it's not Fu, and Ho doesn't mean hit, but I think in this case it's safe to assume that the notes that fall where Fu would normally fall can be assumed to be a hit, like that. Another area where it's interesting is... he, right? I don't know if you noticed that, okay? But towards the middle of the piece, you've got that kind of... the he, okay? That's actually also a he in the Oshiki pieces, in the Oshiki version of Shote. Right, so he actually should technically be going up, but it's not going up. It's actually staying where it is. So these kind of classical pieces have a tendency not to like to use kanjo. If you wanted to, you could shift this up so that it would kind of be in pitch. You can use the fingering for jo, which is either these two or these two, depending on what you read. And it would be an octave above u, right? So we could play it like this, just starting from the middle. But if we're going to believe this book, which I don't see any reason not to, maybe people prefer not to do that, and just keep things at hi, it ends up giving the piece a little bit of a different character too. So there you go. Now again, one more thing is that on the Oshiki piece, you'll remember that the character Ru comes up sometimes, and we do this sort of, I call it a korobu yubi, right? This same thing doesn't fall on Ru, and it isn't characterized as Ru, and again, in other books, Ru is played not here, but here on Oshiki, right? I'm sorry, on Banshiki. So, what's going on? You know, is Ru the only place where we do Korobu Yubi? Because it seems like we still want to do that on Ya instead, right? For example, if we go towards the end of the piece, Toya Hoya Tae Yau Ho. Right, going from e to ya, it's natural to do that kind of korobu yubi effect and let it blip in that transition, just like it does in the Oshiki version, which goes. So there you have it. It's ya, it's not ru, but it kind of, you want to do that same effect there, just sort of naturally. So enjoy Shote on Banshiki.